How would you describe these scenes? A butcher holding a martini in his hand? A mad scientist obsessed with inventing a solar-powered flashlight? A female assassin who got shot by her own gun? A death row prisoner is spared with $15 bribe? I would call it cult.
A misplaced or excessive admiration for a particular person or thing.
So, can you turn these elements into a cult movie? Tease a communist government and still make this movie a commercial success? To me, the answer is yes and no. In 1994, yes you can, and Stephen Chow made it. Today, to be honest, I am not sure. This 1994 Hong Kong movie from Beijing with Love is Chow's first attempt to be a producer. Huge success in box office, to the extent that CCP even banned it in China. But it still couldn't stop people from taking it home to watch through VHS. If you want to know exactly which sensitive political topics of the CCP this film satirizes, how Chow managed to squeeze the plots of more than 30 films into a single movie, the real-life identities of the characters in the film, and the true experiences of the actors, you don't want to miss today's episode. The plot is very simple. A long-retired secret agent gets pulled back into action for a high-stakes mission, the kind that feels straight out of Mission Impossible. He's pitted against rival agents, maneuvering through layers of deception until he finally brings down the shadowy political figure controlling everything from behind the scenes. But the title is the first sign there's more going on. It sounds like a nod to the 1963 Bond film From Russia with Love, but it also mirrors a lesser-known 1975 spy movie called From Hong Kong with Love. Put those two together and it starts to sound like something else entirely. From Russia and Beijing with Love to Hong Kong. The lead character, Ling-ling-chat's backstory is full of symbolism. According to his agent file, he was born on June 4th, 1964. The numbers 6 and 4 unmistakably point to the 1989 Tiananmen Square massacre. His ID number, AK-47, adds another layer. It's a loaded reference both literally and politically, aimed at the Chinese government's violent response to peaceful protest. The commander refers to Chat as a martyr, which adds a bitter irony. Who is the real martyr here? The student who stood against the tanks and rifles and never came home? This isn't the first time Chow has slipped political satire into comedy. In his 1991 film Tricky Brains, there's a moment when his character eats a truth-telling bun and accidentally spits out a brutal truth. It's a jab at the Chinese government's claim that nobody died during the protests. Chow wrapped that critique in comedy, but the message hit hard. Chat wasn't even qualified to be an agent. He spent a decade chopping pork in a Shenzhen butcher shop. He was so broke that when he tried to hire a prostitute, the only thing he had to offer was 2 pounds of pork belly. But he didn't settle in style. Kent cigarette and dried martini. You don't find these in mainland China back in 90s. A big problem erupts not long after. A priceless national treasure is stolen by a bulletproof gunslinging terrorist known only as the Golden Gunman. The situation escalates fast. Even Agent 008 gets taken out in the crossfire. The Golden Gunman is a clear nod to the man with the golden gun from the Bond series, and the whole agent dies in the opening act setup is classic Bond. Films like Octopussy, The Living Daylights, and GoldenEye all used it to kick things off with a bang. The dinosaur skull as the center of the plot makes sense in context. Jurassic Park had just blown up the box office in 1993, setting off a global dinosaur craze. The film even gets name-dropped in From Beijing with Love, tying the reference directly into the story. With the national treasure stolen, State Council demands a full investigation. The commander then calls in Man Sai, a deranged scientist, to summon Chat and handle the situation. The scientist casting choice of Ka-ying was deliberate. Law once shared that the crew felt his comedic style matched the tone of the film better than Man Tat, so they brought him in to partner with Chow. Their first scene together makes it clear they made the right call. The way Man Sai walks is inspired by Japanese ninja, according to lore. The water on the floor was poured there on purpose, just to amplify the ridiculous sound of slippers splashing. During filming, Law unexpectedly turned his scripted line into a poem, aiming to throw Chow off. And it worked. The wine glass even slips from Chow's hand, but Chow recovers instantly, firing back with a perfect improvised line. This moment, completely unscripted, ended up becoming one of the film's most iconic scenes. Chat's entrance at HQ is another highlight. Dressed and moving like Blondie from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, he channels that same cool, silent swagger. Both characters pull off plans that look absurd on the surface but somehow work out flawlessly. One standout gag here. Chat mistakes a woman for his long-lost lover, Rose, only to find out she's actually Rose's daughter, Rhododendron. It's a clear callback to the 1967 Casino Royale, where David Niven's Bond mistakes Moneypenny's daughter for her mother. In case you were wondering why this film is saturated with so many 007 elements, besides the popularity of the franchise, both Chow and the Wings movie production company consider the character holds great commercial potential. By adding Chinese elements, it could transform and open up new opportunities in overseas markets. Just as Chat tries to make a dramatic exit, he walks straight into a glass door. The timing, the delivery, straight out of the 1960s spy comedy Get Smart. Inside the command center, agents are testing a series of ridiculous gadgets. One causes heads to explode using plaster. This is a twisted nod to the 1981 film For Your Eyes Only. Psy shows off a collection of flashy, over-engineered tools that look impressive and useless. The commander doesn't share the same sense of humor. He takes the mission seriously and hands the assignment over to Chat, instructing him to gear up and head to Hong Kong. Right before his mission, there's a subtle scene where Chat slicks back his hair in front of a mirror. It's a direct nod to Tony Leung's iconic final shot from Days of Being Wild. Actually, this scene is shot for the opening of the sequel, which never came out due to budget limit. This could be a hint from Chow that initially they planned to have a sequel for From Beijing With Love. I will come to this point later. On the desk, you'll spot stacks of James Bond cassette tapes, VHS covers, and posters. Little details that add depth. Now, pay attention to the massive billboard behind him on the road to Hong Kong. Did you notice it's missing a line? The original slogan should have ended with a key phrase, but the film intentionally cuts it out. It's a clever jab at a society that preaches values it doesn't always uphold. Absolute satire. Upon arriving in Hong Kong, Chat checks into the Regang Hotel at 40 Shantung Street. The landlord, played by Lee Hiong-lan, later became legendary for his role as Flower. Lee was Chow's classmate and also played for Hong Kong's national football team. He eventually joined Chow's core production crew. Inside the hotel, Chat flips through a 3D erotic magazine while wearing those red and blue cardboard glasses, completely mesmerized by the visuals. It's a hilarious callback to the flat, boring magazines from Fight Back to School. Now, here is another food for thought. Did you notice the room number behind the scene here? You can read it in two ways. From left to right, it reads Valentine. But if you know Chinese history well, you will notice that from right to left, the number reconciles with the Shanghai Massacre happened on April 12, 1927. It was a party purge initiated by Kuomintang to the Chinese Communist Party due to its continuous infiltration. Could this be another subtle message from Chow? Chat soon spots a secret message on the bathroom mirror, revealed by steam. This little moment is again a direct homage to For Your Eyes Only. Later, Chat mistakes a dog holding a red rose in its mouth for his contact. The whole gag recalls Get Smart's very first episode, where Agent 86 mistakes a random kid for his partner. Eventually, Chat meets the real red rose while she's feeding stray dogs in a park. The scene is almost a shot-for-shot homage to Anita Yuen's role in another movie. This leads us to a key theme, one that the Pink Panther Strikes Again also nails. In that film, guns look like lighters, radios hide in vaults, and nothing is quite what it seems. From Beijing With Love runs with the same idea. A razor turns out to be a hairdryer, the hairdryer is actually a razor, and guns shoot backward. A sweet-looking agent might be dead serious. Even someone in a commander uniform could be the big bad. The film continuously flips expectations, reminding us that reality isn't always what it looks like. Chow's deeper message is sharp. Don't be fooled by the surface. Some governments say one thing but mean another. If you don't learn to read between the lines, you're bound to be taken for a ride. These quirky gadgets were just too creative to ignore. For example, in another movie, Law Ka-ying's character Juicy bonduses a razor phone combo. And that infamous backward-firing pistol? It's inspired by those old-school spy thrillers with mysteriously cursed weapons. Chungking Express is another film refers to multiple times. The moment Chat and Com are forced into a posed photo in the restaurant directly parodies Fei Wong and Tony Leung. Then there's the scene where Chat raises a martini glass at a butcher stall, standing aloof amid the noisy crowd. As for the showdown in the shopping mall, well, that scene remains pure childhood trauma for many. A thug holds a child hostage, and the boy's father sacrifices himself to protect his son. When Chat ends it with a well-aimed throwing knife, the release of tension is cathartic and thrilling. This moment was later echoed in Infernal Affairs. But you may not know that. The mall scene is more than just action and tears. Let's start with the villain. The man from Hunan is played by Raymond Tsang. In a later interview, Raymond revealed that this powerful scene wasn't meticulously choreographed, it was improvised by Chow on the spot. At one point during filming, a lady walked into the frame. The crew prepared to cut, but Chow decided to let her walk through. Just like that, real life slipped into movie magic. Fans still consider this one of Raymond's finest performances. The name Man from Hunan carries deeper meaning too. Some believe it's a cheeky nod to the Long Arm of the Law films from the 80s and 90s, those gritty crime sagas featuring ruthless criminals migrating from the mainland, often speaking with the distinctive Hunan accent. The gunfight was filmed at Windsor House in Causeway Bay. Back then, the mall's mid-level housed a casual Italian eatery called Mario's. That's where the action unfolds. This mall-based fight scene wasn't just for drama, it also doubled as product placement. Even the mall's color-shifting fantasy pillar makes an appearance. It's still there today, though it's changed shape. But Mario's has folded. For many Hong Kong movie lovers, this scene remains frozen in memory. And here's the real tearjerker. Years later, Raymond passed away. One day, someone left a comment on Instagram asking Chow if he still remembered the man from Hunan. This person turned out to be Raymond's son. Chow replied with just 3 words. Then he quietly sent a gift. It is these little moments that really show the other side of Chow. If you ask me which scene is the most iconic, I'd say this moment stands as one of the most beautifully dangerous scenes in Chow's entire filmography. The story takes us to a luxurious poolside party at a villa. On the surface, Chat is his usual flirtatious self, but underneath, he's hunting for clues to the dinosaur fossil, though with no luck so far. Meanwhile, Kam receives her orders to kill Chat on the spot. She lures Chat to the white piano beside the pool. Her plan is simple. Wait until he starts playing, then end him with a single shot. What she doesn't expect is that Chat can actually play. And what truly catches her off guard, he begins to sing Lee Hiong Lan, a song from Jackie Chung. The same song as her mother's name, a track that faded into obscurity in the early 90s, cherished by Jackie himself as a hidden gem. When the melody floated into the night air, her aim wavered, the killer instinct melted into feeling, and the sniper's heart was pierced by a man's voice. And honestly, how would you not fall for the stunning beauty of Anita Yuen and Pauline Chan? But for us, the audience, this scene is more than just a dramatic high point. It's another heartfelt tribute from Chow, because the man truly admires Jackie. Back in Love on Delivery, Chow's character camped out all night to buy Jackie's concert tickets, only to miss out and fall into despair. Then Jackie himself appears, handing Chow a ticket. It became one of cinema's softest fanboy dream-come-true moments. But this time, Lee Hiong Lan isn't just a background track or a cutaway insert. Chow sings it fully and sincerely. He sings it like he means every word, and it brings the audience back to the neon-lit 90s Hong Kong, raw and real. Even more poetic, this song wasn't a hit when it first dropped. It was Jackie's offhand comment during a concert that revived interest in it. And here's something even more poignant. Both Jackie and Chow share similar career trajectory. Between 1988 and 1990, Jackie hits rock bottom and nearly quit his music career. Chow was stuck playing extras in the 80s, but neither gave up. One became the god of song, the other king of comedy. Would you call that a coincidence? I'd say it's destiny's most romantic foreshadowing. At the party, Chat faces off with 2 highly skilled assassins in a fierce battle. Agent Golden Teeth makes his dramatic entrance, delivering a shot that pays homage to Spielberg's E.T. the Extraterrestrial. This character is inspired by James Bond films. Chow cranks it up, giving Golden Teeth not only powerful biting capabilities, but also turning his arms into mechanical structures, a direct nod to the T-800 from Terminator 2. Chow fends them off with throwing knives. But after a brief recovery, Calm begins her sniper assault and shot Chow several times. Just when Calm believes her mission is complete and prepares to leave, Chat catches her off guard. It turns out he's wearing a bulletproof vest, though he's still shot in the left thigh. Calm considers taking another shot, but Chat surprises her by handing her a white rose. It's the very gift Calm had mentioned wanting the most. What Chat doesn't know is that the white rose symbolizes funeral or death. Despite this, Calm is touched by the sentiment and decides to drive Chat home to save his life. During the surgery, Chat guides Calm on how to remove the bullet from his leg. She opens up, speaking of the loss of her parents at a young age. Her emotional response to the song Chat plays might be the catalyst that changes her heart. But why Chow selects this particular song? Actually, there is a story behind. It is a cover version in memory of a real-life character named Lee Hiong Lan, or Yamaguchi Yoshiko. Back in the 1940s, she was a popular singer and actress with mixed Chinese and Japanese heritage living in Shanghai, but was labeled as Chinese collaborator and forced to go back to Japan for the rest of her life. In From Beijing With Love, Kam is also considered a collaborator by the CPC. So when Chow sings the song, Kam feels that Chow understands her sufferings over the years and opens up emotionally. Just my small reasoning. Chat recognizes the bullet type, realizes that Kam is the sniper. He chose to forgive Kam and leave. However, it isn't long before Aphrodite kidnaps Kam, joining forces with Golden Teeth to track down the Golden Gunman. Chat returns to his headquarters to report Kam's betrayal, but he's deceived into execution and witnesses the brutal execution of innocent prisoners. This night execution scene was a last-minute change by Chow. He spent 2 nights planning it and instructed the actors to improvise. Director Lik-chi also played one of the doomed prisoners. This is because the background actors didn't meet expectations, and the original background actors were recast as the rocket launcher-wielding characters. At this moment, 2 agents arrive at the headquarters, and the Golden Gunman prepares to kill Kam to prevent her from leaking secrets. Just then, Chat appears. Moments before his execution, Chat managed to bribe the squad leader with $15, convincing them to cancel his execution and let him go. As he leaves the ground, Chat shares cigarettes with the team members. This scene was later borrowed in Malena. The phrase "rest in peace" even became a popular meme in Hong Kong's internet culture. It is used to bid farewell to users banned for challenging the authority of forum admins or to mourn the passing of real-life individuals. The night before Chat's final showdown with the Golden Gunman, Sai prepares a special weapon to assist him, but was tragically shot. In the end, Chat takes out a meat cleaver and defeats the Golden Gunman. The special weapon used by Sai later also became the inspiration for Exhibition Even's name. In the end, Chat wins Kam's heart. However, he doesn't return to the Intelligence Bureau, and he continues his work as a butcher in the market. Surprisingly, the meat cleaver on his butcher's block is engraved with a quote from CPC Chief Deng Xiaoping. This engraving becomes one of the most significant foreshadowing moments in the film. Throughout the movie, the term 10 years is repeatedly mentioned 4 times, and the date on the spy manual is 1965. In 1966, Mao launched the Cultural Revolution, and Deng Xiaoping was purged due to his power struggle with Mao. In 1975, when Zhou Enlai fell ill, Deng began a comprehensive reform, attempting to reverse the political landscape in China. In May 1985, the Sino-British Joint Declaration on Hong Kong took effect, and in 1994, Chat received Deng's inscription. These specific historical dates align with the 10 years mentioned in the film. Is this a coincidence, or did Chow intentionally leave a clue for the audience? Last, I want to give you another fun fact. Did you know Chow actually have a plan to film a sequel after God of Cookery? According to Tin Kaimon, they even had the script and name of the film ready. King of Spy 0007, as they call it. But Chow changes his mind after he saw the Japanese drama Long Vacation and decided to go ahead with King of Comedy. So between King of Comedy and sequel to From Beijing With Love, which one would you prefer? If you like this video, please don't forget to click like, subscribe, and share your thoughts down below in the comments.